Whoa, I guess we're pulling! What's up? This is Jim Pro from Ready Check Pull, and this is the Need to Know Guide for Normal and Heroic Wrathion, the Black Emperor. Before you pull the boss, you'll want to assign 3 speedy classes, preferably with immunities or a good personal damage reduction, to soak the Scales of Wrathion in Phase 2. Don't assign tanks because they'll need to pick up adds during that phase. Okay, you'll start off by lusting on pull as the main tanks pull the boss sideways while the rest of the raid stacks up against the boss's side. This is to avoid the boss's front and back cleave. The tanks have to deal with Searing Breath, a hard-hitting frontal cone that does increased damage every time it hits the target. Tanks will need to taunt swap at 3 stacks of Searing Armor or when the previous debuff has fallen off. A few players will occasionally get targeted with Incineration, a debuff that explodes after a few seconds, dealing increased AoE damage the closer you are to other players, so try to be as far away as possible. The boss will also cast Gale Blast, an AoE knockback to anyone in melee range, but it's fairly easy to avoid. After Gale Blast, the boss will teleport away and begin shooting fireballs spawning red circles around the room. Get to the side of the room opposite the boss and look for a spot that has the most distance between each circle. This is a safe spot. After a few seconds, the circles will grow and explode, dealing crazy damage to anyone caught in the blast, so make sure you're in that safe spot. Then, get back to the boss as soon as possible using lock portals and things like that, and do the whole phase again. This will repeat until Phase 2. Phase 2 will always follow every 2 burning cataclysms, also known as the boss teleporting. There's 3 main things we'll need to worry about in this phase: Scales of Wrathion, Crackling Shards, and Ashwalker Assassins. 3 Scales of Wrathion will drop from the boss and need to be soaked by 3 speedy runners. Soaking these will give you the Burning Madness debuff. Crackling Shards need to be destroyed. Everyone needs to be AoEing these as hard as possible to destroy them before the phase ends. The 3 runners who picked up the Scales of Wrathion can use the debuff to run over the shards, instantly destroying them. DPS will focus on the big stacks of shards towards the middle, while the runners focus on the single shards around the room. Be careful as the shards do explode when they die. The last thing we worry about is the Ashwalker Assassins. These start off in stealth, so they need to be revealed using AoE abilities, flares, and Demon Hunter Spectral Sight. If they aren't revealed, they do big damage and a long stun to players, so revealing them as fast as possible is important. When Phase 2 ends, Phase 1 starts again. Just move the boss back into position and repeat until the boss is dead. The enrage could be pretty tight, so big damage during Phase 1 is looking to be more important than the AoE damage needed for Phase 2. And that's the fight. You can support us on Patreon, or you can find more guides at the Ready Check Pull YouTube channel.